So Keats, where are you headed to this week? Well, I'm going to Agassiz. Oh, I've totally been to Agassiz. It's pronounced Agassiz. Yep, I've totally walked down the roads of Agassiz. Good sturgeon fishing near Agassiz. It's pronounced Agassiz. The Z is silent. Nah, man, the Z is large and in charge. Agassiz. Agassiz. Whatever, dude. Catch you later. I gotta get my Agassizzle on. See? I told you it's called Agassizzle.
Agassiz is located in the beautiful Upper Fraser Valley. It is home to a lot of farmland and a great place to go geocaching. With stunning mountains to the north and south, the Upper Fraser Valley is an absolutely gorgeous place to go for a hike. There is always such an idyllic atmosphere to this countryside. And now, on with the adventure. Hello everyone, what is up? This is Keats94 here for another geocaching adventure, and welcome to Agassiz, British Columbia. Here in the Upper Fraser Valley, it is a beautiful day. Today we're going to be doing some geocaching and as well checking out an adventure lab, and also, you know what, just checking out the area, exploring and seeing what this beautiful town has to offer. Full of farmland, full of greenery and mountains and all that stuff. So tag along for another geocaching adventure. So folks, I think this was a little too easy. We actually found Sasquatch, you know. They're a little two-dimensional here, but, you know, and they're kind of facing away from this, so it could just be a really weird cactus or something, I don't know. But also, look at all these. They're all over the place. They're all just walking all over the map here. By the way, this is Harrison Lake here, and Harrison Lake is home to what has been known as kind of a ground zero for a lot of Sasquatch sightings. Whether you believe in Sasquatch or not, this is a place that is highly Sasquatch focused. So actually, at this stage right now, at this Adventure Lab stage, we actually have to count how many Sasquatches there are on this whole signboard, on the back here and also over here. Count the Sasquatches here. 1 Sasquatch. 2 Sasquatch. 3 Sasquatch. 4 Sasquatch. All right. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 23, 24, 25. Okay. 25. So some of you are noticing that I'm walking along the side of the road here. That's because, well, I took the bus. And I took the bus all the way from Burnaby, which is about a 2-hour bus ride away. Actually, 2 buses you have to take to get out here in Agassiz. So definitely an adventure, but worth it because we're going to go for a cool library geocache, which I'm looking forward to checking out. So stay tuned for that. So a thing that you might not know, for those who are outside of British Columbia, they might not know that the Fraser Valley is kind of the Bible Belt of southwestern British Columbia. Over here we have an Adventure Lab stage that talks about the town's namesake, Arthur Agassiz. He donated land here for a church to be built, and here's the church. And here we have a statue of Mary, and that is where our Adventure Lab answer is, somewhere on there. So, great little spot to kind of hang out in the shade, whether you're religious or not. And yeah, it's very peaceful out here. Okay, let's put our inside voices on. Let's go to the library. Okay, I think I spotted the first stage. I think we have to go inside and use the Dewey Decimal System to find this thing. Well, that was really cool. I was able to tackle that library cache. I actually had to ask the librarian for some help on that one because there was apparently a stage missing, but I was able to use my people skills and ask for some help. So that was a good one. All right, folks, story time. I should probably tell you the story about the time where I took the train here from Vancouver. So, my thought was that I would take the Via Rail Canadian, basically 2 stops. The total time it would have taken to travel here was about 2 hours. Easily enough because the train at that time left at noon. So I thought, okay, I'll be able to come here and maybe find a few geocaches and spend a bit of time here, and I'll probably arrive here around 2 p.m. No problem, right? Well, get on the train. As I wait in Vancouver, we are already delayed 1 hour. And then slowly but surely we start moving bit by bit around through Burnaby and New Westminster, and then we stop right on the other side in Surrey. We're there for maybe about 45 minutes. And we start moving again. And we start hitting into Langley territory. And we start slowing down again, and we stop. Stop, and we wait. We wait. And sitting beside me is a lady who is from India. She was going to Dryden, Ontario, and this was her first impression of train travel in Canada. In India, trains usually are very punctual. So, felt very bad for her as we were sitting beside each other on this train, basically stuck in Langley. And then, oh joy, the train starts moving again. The train moves towards Abbotsford, and we're actually going at a pretty decent clip through the Fraser Valley, and then we stop. And I should point out that freight trains have the right of way. Passenger trains really do not make as much money as freight trains do, so freight trains definitely make the passenger trains wait. So we were waiting, and there was a heck of a lot of traffic. So once we got to Abbotsford, we were stuck there. I kid you not, we were stuck there for 3 hours in the middle of Glen Valley. Glen Valley is kind of close to the Fraser River, just kind of on the north side of Abbotsford, if you're familiar with the area. We were there for basically 3 hours. It starts getting dark. Now, in my mind, I thought, okay, if I get to Agassiz on time, then I would be able to catch my buses back to Burnaby. Well, hour after hour, that was not going to be the case. Reality kind of set in that we were going to be stuck in Abbotsford for a very long time. And it kind of crossed my mind. And I wouldn't have done this, but it crossed my mind. What if I got one of those like hammer picks, and just break yourself out of the train? Because it was just getting more and more claustrophobic. We're sitting there, and then we start moving bit by bit towards the Mission Bridge. And we cross the Mission Bridge, and really at that point I should have probably just gotten off the train and taken a bus from Mission. I would have probably been able to have no problem getting back. But no, the train, basically they don't tell you that the train is stopping in Mission. We just kind of drifted on past because I suppose some people either just ran off the train and got off at their stops, or the train just didn't need to drop anybody off. Anyway, we start racing towards Agassiz, and by this point it was probably getting to be around 7 o'clock, 7:30. So eventually I get to this train station right here, and I get off the train and I realize that I have missed every single one of my buses. And at that time, Uber did not exist, so what was my thought? Well, I had to catch a taxi. So, realizing that my only option at this point was to catch a taxi, take a taxi all the way to Mission, where I had supposedly should have gotten off the train initially. But if I got to Mission on time, then I'd be able to catch this 701 bus. It's a TransLink bus. It's a local Metro Vancouver bus that would have taken me to Coquitlam Centre Station, which is a SkyTrain station, and I'd be back home, no problem. Well, I get on the taxi, super friendly taxi driver. Dude was involved in the logging industry, and I guess the taxi industry was kind of his retirement job after doing that for most of his life. So it was actually a really great conversation. He was a very nice guy, and that was the silver lining, and that was the positive in this story. He was such a great person to talk to. But needless to say, the distance between here and Mission is actually quite a fair distance. So $103 later, I get to Mission, and I said, "Can I have the receipt? I may want to send this off to Via Rail if I can." Long story short with that, obviously didn't even bother, because they totally Via Rail totally says disclaimer, there will be delays likely, and just prepare yourself. So that was my first experience with taking Via Rail, and I will say, actually, if you look at my other episodes, my route to Kamloops, that was a far better experience. And will I recommend train travel? Absolutely, but you just have to prepare yourself for the potential of delays. I mentioned how many churches there are in the Fraser Valley. Here we are at the All Saints Anglican Church, and there's a geocache here. All right, I think I may have found it. Oh yeah, it's official, folks. Official geocache for the win. And thanks to geocaching, I learned that this is the oldest church in Agassiz. It was built in 1896, and yeah, it's an old church. And check out the cool labyrinth. Geez, you know you're in farm country when you see the livestock pavilion. So I just had a very nice conversation with one of the locals around here, and I want to do a plug for his YouTube channel, Canadian Radio Sanctuary. Very nice chat about drones and all that stuff, so big shout out to him on this episode, and I'll be sure to follow along on what he's producing for YouTube. Right now, I am walking towards a geocache in this beautiful idyllic green field, and it's just, I don't know if the camera really picks it up, but it is an incredibly gorgeous green. Very nice. Also, with beautiful Mount Chiam to the left of me. All right, we have approached ground zero here. It's brought us to this tree of some kind. Where could it be? Geocache is around here. So, oh, I see something ominously suspicious. Ominous suspicion. That is another geocache for the win here in Agassiz. Beautiful location, right in the shadow of Mount Chiam. Awesome. Here we're going to put the cache back the way we found it, so that future geocachers can find it. And everybody, thank you very much for watching another episode of Keats 94's Geocaching Adventures here in Agassiz, British Columbia, a town that starts with A and ends with Z. You can't really find very many of those in Canada, at least. Thanks very much for tuning in, and till the next one, consider subscribing. Be part of the adventure. Every week I go on some kind of crazy adventure, and it's usually spontaneous, it's usually unrehearsed, and I just go with the flow. So thanks very much for watching, and till next time, happy adventuring and happy geocaching.